Marijuana Initiative, better known as Proposition 19, represents far more than the legalization of a controlled substance. For generations now, marijuana has played a preeminent role in California's economy. And although an illicit crop, it represents, by conservative estimates, $14 billion of untaxed economic activity for the state. And it sits at the top of the agricultural food chain in a state known around the world for what it grows. Although many millions of Americans smoke marijuana recreationally, embedded in the initiative are socioeconomic complexities that sadly far transcend the current level of political debate on the issue. Southern California author Katie Arnoldi's recent work, Point Dume, uses the reality of the underground California marijuana economy as a backdrop to her story. Her impeccably researched work represents more truth than fiction on the topic of marijuana in the Golden State. Where are we driving right now?
Now we're on Mulholland, and we're driving into the heart of Potland. There's water running all through these mountains. The Las Virgenes water system runs all through here, so it's not a problem at all. I'm going to show you a bunch of places where I would grow pot if I was a cartel guy and wanting to set up a site. So we are about 2 miles in from the coast in one of the canyons, specifically Canaan, and the thing that really surprised me when I came out and started researching marijuana is, like, if you look around here, you see the canopy of native plants, and it doesn't seem possible that there could be pot farms out here. And yet the sites that I've been into, I'd look from a distance, I'd look across at a hillside, and I would see, a very dense growing like these plants here. In fact, they leave the canopy alone and tunnel underneath and grow underneath. And there could be, on that hillside over there could be 10,000 plants growing right now, and we would never know it. And it's shocking and amazing to me that that's how they operate. In the olden days, when they first started growing, they would clear sites and grow plants, but the color of pot is a very different green from the color of the native chaparral. So they got smart very quickly and left the canopy, and they just kind of weed out enough that the light comes through, and then the weed grows. And I'm telling you, marijuana is so easy to grow. That was another shocking thing that I didn't know until I got out to these sites. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much water. It doesn't take, it's a weed. It grows very easily. So the novel I wrote, Point Dume, is about this exact area. And the house behind me was sort of the model for the house where my characters, Frank and Janice, live. That's the vineyard on the hillside. Down below it in the gully is where Felix is living, and he's growing the pot. And this dynamic is happening out here all over the place. The grow sites in this particular area, they're tapping into the water lines that run throughout the mountains. And I've talked a lot about how the cartels are using incredible amounts of pesticides and rodenticides and toxins down in the grow sites, down in the gullies. But up on the hillsides, these huge vineyards, they've stripped the land, they planted these vines, and then they're using sulfites, and then it rains, and everything goes down and drains into the ocean. And I mean, if you look around Malibu, there's vineyards everywhere, and it's not as easy to find the pot farms, but they're also out here. And I'm really concerned about the environmental impact of both these grows. It's like this thing of, we have such an insatiable need for intoxicants, both legal and illegal. And so this is what we're doing to satiate that need for intoxicants. But the cost that we're paying, we're killing the ocean. Is it worth it? Is kind of one of the questions I deal with in the book. And it bugs me a lot.
Katie Arnoldi, thank you for speaking with Truth Out. Your new book, Point Dume, really touches on a number of different issues that are happening today. Do you think that your book has served as a tool to educate people about some of the issues of human trafficking, the drug cartels that are running rampant in California?
I've been kind of shocked, actually, when I've been out on my book tour and talking to people about the book, and pretty much across the board, people had no idea that, like, they read about it in the paper, they read about the cartel activity that they're growing on public lands, but they somehow don't understand that it's right here in our backyards. There's an organization called HIDTA, which is High Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas. There's 36 of them throughout the United States, 4 in California. And their most recent report, their June report, stated that California is outgrowing Mexico. significantly, like 30%. Our outdoor grows is greater than all of what's going on in Mexico. What that tells us is that the cartel activity has increased a huge amount in the last couple of years. And the thing that people need to know and remember is that they're growing this pot on public designated wilderness. These are our public lands, and they are permanently polluting and destroying them. I think that's an issue that we should be discussing. I think it's a key issue for in terms of should we legalize marijuana. It's not been in the press very much, and I don't understand why we're not talking about it more.
I have certainly not heard our state lawmakers discussing it. What have you uncovered during the course of your research as to why? Are they just not aware of it?
I think, yeah, actually, I don't think it's being ignored purposely because why would you ignore it purposely? People genuinely don't know that this is going on the scale that it's going on. It just hasn't been publicized.
What do you think our state lawmakers and federal officials need to do to address issues revolving around immigration and the efforts to try and legalize marijuana?
I think, first off, no question, we should legalize marijuana, both on this side of the border and in Mexico. I think that would alleviate a huge problem and cut down on all this violence and cartel activity. First thing, absolutely no question about it. In New York Times Magazine, the interview that Deborah Solomon did with Vicente Fox, one of the first questions she asked him was, well, what should happen? His no hesitation, legalize marijuana on both sides of the border. I mean, we would take care of such a huge part of this problem if we would just legalize it. All over the United States. In California, I think if we legalize and regulate, we're not going to knock out cartel activity because California is supplying the entire country. But we legalize and regulate, we're going to take a huge chunk out of their business.
How does the issues of the drug cartels impact the efforts to try and legalize marijuana in California?
The cartels are using really toxic chemicals to grow these plants, and then those chemicals are going into the product that they're smoking, right? So by legalizing it, we can control that and diminish the incentive to come up here and grow in California.
So it really becomes more than just an issue about getting high. It's truly an environmental issue.
Oh no, it's a huge environmental
Yeah.
issue, and it's a health issue. So there are 3 reasons why we should be legalizing.
And that's something that's obviously not being discussed.
I haven't heard
as
it.
much.
Have you? I haven't
No,
heard anybody
no,
talk about
yeah.
this, and I don't get it. Why are we talking about
Yeah.
this? I've been talking about it, but I'm a novelist. One of the things that I was struck by in researching Point Dume was the amount of our border policies, our new border policies, with the four walls down in Tijuana. I don't know if you've been down there, but there are 4 walls in some places down in Tijuana. We are funneling migrants into the most deadly deserts, and then they're coming across and they're dying on U.S. soil. I didn't really know that before I started doing this research. Hundreds of people are dying out there, especially right now in the summer months. It's terrible, and it's because of our new policy. It's not stopping people from coming across.
What new policy are you speaking about
Our
specifically?
border policies,
Our border
of trying to seal the borders. And so the hypocrisy of our position is we're going to make it so hard for you to come across. We're going to try and kill you. It's almost impossible to get here. But if you do get here, we have plenty of work because we need you to pick our food. There's just a list of jobs available if you can make it across. And that's something that I feel like I need to address. And it's a very complex issue, and I'm not saying that I have an answer, but I'm seeing a situation that I think needs to be written about and brought to light.